Hi, everyone. Here he is. Yay. Welcome, Dave
Before
Johnson.
Sheila takes responsibility, it is certainly my bad. I am so bad with dates and times. It's a moon thing. It has cycles. Last night was full, so there you go.
Exactly. It's all right. It's all good. People know that the life never comes out exactly as what you think it's supposed to. It's like wonderful accidents all over the place. So
awesome.
All right. So what have you been up to? Let's catch up. What have you been up to?
Wow.
What have you been doing on your channel?
Can I just say wow? Okay, I don't know what happened. I've been doing this spiritual work for a while. I'm sure the quantitative healing training helped me a lot. I was a subject in those a couple of times. Brilliant people. One lady even volunteered to do it for me. But something happened on that last vacation. I went to Uluru, Ayers Rock, and I didn't think anything was happening. I brought all my shaman stuff, didn't bring it out. I was on a tour with 20 people. I don't know what, I was sleeping under those stars, but I came back a changed man. I don't know what has happened, but I'd like to say that's that shift we've all been waiting for. A major thing is taking place. We might not be noticing it, but now's the time to get with your creativity, to open up, start talking with a bit of humor instead of fighting. Maybe we could convince some people by at least we're going to feel better. Something shifted, and I found that fewer words are better. So I might just shut up right now and just say, it's not just me. You might not know it. We're all participating in a really brilliant shift. And I think we can all take our power and grow right now.
Oh, Dave, you're speaking. You're singing my song, because I've been saying that too, about feeling the shift and how things are going. It's like the momentum of our new world. It is already in play. There's nothing that's going to stop it. And I keep on having that conversation. Everything's going to be okay. Let it play out. Things percolate. Take a deep breath. Yeah, I absolutely trying to. You definitely push that out there as well. So that's fantastic. I love being able to, and that's the one thing, that's the one lesson, and the one thing that I have learned the most. Shifts happen like that, and then the momentum and the growth and the enlightenment after the shift is the slow moving glacier sometimes. But the shift,
it's like that, just like you snapped. It's like that, and it's so profound. I feel a little bit more detached. I don't feel so angry. We all got angry in the last 5 years. Come on. We saw what happened. We were really angry. I don't care what side you're on. And I feel a little bit more like that too. Like maybe we're all just characters in a play. Some people are there to make us be challenged, and some of us are there to lead up to the challenge. Maybe I'm going to tone down my own judgment a bit. I've been wrong before, something changed, and I think that's universal. It's not just me.
Ah, fantastic. And I am so happy that I get you post change. This is exciting for me. Post change, post enlightenment.
Yes.
After it's happened, yeah.
Aren't we great that we're born this time? How lucky. How lucky we are.
Yes, absolutely. All right, so I wanted to ask, so since you're in Australia, I've always wanted to know, what is the cuisine? What is the one thing that everybody over there says, oh, you have to try this when you come into our country?
Vegemite. Vegemite is their version of peanut butter. Okay, except that nobody's allergic to it, so it's everywhere, and it is the most I hate to talk trash about a country, but it is the most revolting food I have ever had in my life. It tastes like really bad, really, really bad. What are those little fish eggs that are salty? Caviar. Imagine if you took caviar and you spread it on white bread. Ooh, that's what it tastes. Again, I shouldn't be so judgy. But that's one thing that they're like, oh no, try it. No, try that. There's a Korean food that's similar to that. Nyogli, or I can't remember what it is. I'm not. Liver and onion. Liver and onions made by a poor chef would be better. There isn't much to complain about, but there is Vegemite, and I'm not
They
the only
brag
one.
about it, huh?
I'm not the only one.
You gotta try it. No.
No, one bite's enough. Never again.
Yeah, I think at one time I also tried a little taste of it to find out what it was. I thought it was sweet. Vegemite, it's because you spread it on bread like toast. I thought it was
Right.
sweet. And I was
Why
like,
wouldn't
wow, this is not
you?
sweet.
Ew, ew. Well, if you'll go to the history of this country, we went on a submarine and talked about what they fed these guys in the Navy in World War II. One of them was fairy bread. And fairy bread is basically really sweet stuff on toast. It's almost like sugar on toast, but not that good. And that's one of the things these guys were really motivated. I can't even tell you what it was made of, but it was like the cheesiest stuff. Like the kind of thing, when you got those cakes when you were in elementary school, those big old shirt cakes that were just so full of cheap and creamy, and kids love them. You're climbing the walls for hours. They come
Right.
occasionally. Now I'm going to say, in their defense, they have really good food here. I mean, like to the point of being like culinary specialists. You will not find better food in New York. It's
Wow.
it's foodies. It's sort of a new thing for them, so they're really into this foodies thing. They are often into toasties. Toasties are just toast with like avocado and stuff on them.
Yeah.
Has an E at the end. So there's a tradie, there's a toasty, there's a sometimes they often say tummy to an adult. Oh, how's your tummy? Well, I don't know. Ask my mom. I'm not a kid. I don't know tummy. But the physical therapist.
My tummy?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Lie down in your tummy. The physical therapist would say. So they have almost a very charming way of putting things, a very familiar way, a very lots of things. And with Arvo is afternoon, and he'll be like a bottle-o is a place where you buy alcohol. Lots of O's. They put in subby words like that.
Oh
So
wow! Just like I think it's either Ireland or Scotland or something like that. They call it Sir Dog, and Sir. If you're talking about something, it's called Sir Dog or Sir Cat or something like that. So they also have put a little thing into it. So, well,
yeah.
that's fascinating. So now that we got caught up and welcome, and we have a lot of questions, and here's the best part, guys. That we have a little bit more time than an hour, so hopefully we get through all of the questions. So that's exciting. All right, so we're gonna go ahead and go into whatever you got to do to get ready. I don't know if there's any more that you need to do, but
I'm ready.
You can definitely do that if you're ready.
Got my stage going on.
Yeah. Yes, we all burn things. So there's always a mist of some sort around us. All right, so the first question up, it's actually the first question that was posted. Where is Ali Alexander?
Yeah.
So just to give a little back, about Ali Alexander. I think I really don't know exactly what his ethnicity is, but I have a feeling. He looks African American, but he was like this far right activist, and he has been accused of possibly plotting the insurrection or being heavily involved, and all of his social media things have been shut down, and he is accused of being in hiding. So that's the question: is where is he, or what's going on?
Now, I'll tell you the first thing that I locked on is, I do a lot of work with pyramids. I saw kind of messed up triangle for him. It was like not square sides. It was really lumpy. I'm not necessarily certain about what that means. I invite your viewers just to check that out themselves. It has a feeling of something not being right. Oh, and I often get the pyramid when I'm doing protection. So he feels maybe this is that he is unprotected, and that he is in great risk. He's in great risk, I feel. And he had something to do with it. He had something to do with these issues. So he stands aside this lumpy pyramid, He looks shifty. He looks worried, like somebody's going to connect him. There are lines connecting him to these issues, to the pyramid. Let's see, first of all, did he have to do with the insurrection? He's giving a no, 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 but it's kind of defensive. So I'm kind of wondering if he's telling the truth. No, 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 I have nothing to do with it. Maybe it's not a totally direct connection. There is a line, stops, that connects to another line. I think it might be that he's not directly connected, but he's connected to someone who's connected. He knows, and he is more like a source person than an actor person. He is an anchor in that regard. He is hiding. He shows up on a far star. And obviously, that's just a metaphor. He's not literally in the stars, but there are very good risks, big risks. He could, not just a psychological or even physical danger. There are dangers for him. He might, like I would say, since he's a famous person, I can say this. I wouldn't say this to others, but he is at risk of being killed. There are people who do not want that connection made. His real enemies are not the state. It's not the government. He doesn't know what to do. The real enemy is those people who will connect him to it. There are certain politicians. It may not be Ted Cruz, but it looks like Ted Cruz. So it could be someone just symbolizing conservative stuff. Josh Hawley. There's some connection to someone that is like those people. It may not be Josh Hawley, but it looks like them, similar to them. There's some connection, and they're perhaps less known than others. So, yeah, a scarlet letter. He wears a scarlet letter, so people can see him. And if you think of, oh, that's a triangle, right? And there's a line through it, but it's not an ideal triangle. It's not a safe place. Tell me more about, let's see his name again. Ali Alexander. Oh, he's played a dangerous
Ali
game.
Alexander. People are wondering who we're talking about. It's Ali Alexander.
Yeah, people are playing. He's played a dangerous game, and he's aware of that. One thing about this insurrection, I'll just tell you this, and then I'll shut up, is that these people really didn't know what they were getting into. That's not an excuse, but it was way over their head. They did not understand the political, social, physical implications of what they were doing. You can hide in a crowd. If you think about the French Revolution, a lot of the actors were never held at all responsible for cutting off those heads. Some of them were, but most of them just sort of faded and stole the furniture from Versailles, and they just faded. He was thinking maybe he would do this, but he got too close to the real power. He's a great danger. And I think you asked if he was hiding. He is.
Well, the question is, where is he? Like, where is?
He's hiding. Honestly, he's hiding behind money. So there's money that protects him. It's not necessarily a physical place, but it's something like, I get the word Ohio or Iowa. There's something he's hiding, I would say, in a rich person's house. And that rich person is also considering the risks that they are taking by hiding a criminal. They're powerful. There are other powerful characters. I'm going to say he will be found in a week, and it will cause more problems for him and others. Maybe 10 days.
Yeah, I kind of feel like they already have a beat on him.
Yeah.
That was the feel too. Like they already have a beat on him, and they're just waiting. Yeah, that was the feel when you
feel like they already know.
You said that.
Do you feel like, I was gonna say, you feel like you already know where he is?
Yeah, that was the moment you said that. I'm like, oh, they already kind of know. You're like, they have to confirm. So, okay, cool. All right, so the next one is will Puerto Rico is going through a hurricane, or is Puerto Rico going through a hurricane or a big earthquake this year?
Not as bad as before. Problematic. but not the end of the world. In some sense, they're a little bit better prepared because of the last one. The people must stick together and make plans. But in some ways, this will serve to remind people that Puerto Rico, these people are our brothers and sisters. They are and should be closer to the United States. Maybe it will help people reconsider their statehood. I see that these people will become more dogmatic and much more firm in their demand for statehood. This will be bringing them together. It's, Puerto Rico, we could have, 100 years of, environmental issues. This year will not be so bad. Will be, there will be problems. I get March, but maybe that's obviously it's going to be next year. Are there other times? Maybe some stuff going on in August. I think that's hurricane season. It seems, again, it's a problem. Take care of stuff, make a plan, keep the children safe. That's the message that I get. Keep the children safe. Work together. Go to better places, safer places. The government needs to change. Puerto Rico needs to create this. These people have to pressure them. Government's doing all it can, but not necessarily the federal government. They should be talking to Biden big time. It will bring them more firm in their convictions, but there are a few people who will be harmed. I'm getting a few hundred people. They will be harmed. The majority of people will be all right. They will lose some time. They will lose some homes. They will rebuild. We must think of this in a long term. Something in the long term. We have to address these issues. Like California, they will lead the cause. They will lead the cause to consider the environment.
Yeah. When you're talking, I kind of felt that Spirit's going to give the United States and Puerto Rico another opportunity to do the right thing.
I feel you're right.
Yeah,
I feel you're
it was
right.
kind
I
of
see a woman who looks, not white, putting her foot down. I've had enough.
Yeah.
That's the way it should be. I've had enough. Mm-hmm.
So I think that they're going to have another opportunity to do what's right. So I thought that was pretty cool. Mm. So the next one is, what is the job market future? It says, will the baby boomers retire in mass numbers? And then they said, is remote work the new normal? Somebody's like, is this how we're going? Is this? But there's 3 questions there. So what about the market?
Right. Well, they almost answer each other, don't they? I mean, whoever's created these questions is psychic, because they're right. They're sensing like you and I do. This is the pulse. And the pulse is, first of all, Zoom. It's going to alienate some people. Now, I really want to speak to those people who are not great at technology. Me, okay? I finally stopped throwing my laptop against the wall because I can't download stuff. I'm getting a little bit calmer. I'm starting to go, I don't have to understand everything. I can just understand this one thing and approach it really calmly. I can go to Google and check it out. So I don't care what age you are. You can have access to this. It's not as hard as it was. It just looks intimidating. And it looks, so that's just for anyone out there. And I don't care how old you are, baby boomer or not. If you want to remake your career, you can do that using the laptop, using the internet. You can do that. It's just a question of wanting to and looking at things. I mean, I look at what we're doing right now. Anybody could make a YouTube video and predict the future, right? That could be you. And you can just also do it for entertainment and connecting. There are people, mostly on the more curmudgeon-y side, I don't want to do this anymore. These kids today, I see it as a man, as an older man, who says, I'm not going to bother to read that stuff. I'm tired. Those guys are going to go. It'll open up some opportunities for others. Even those old guys might be entertained by what you would produce for them. I'm really concerned here because this time is changing and people need money and they need work and they need to move into fields where they're happier. There are opportunities. Go where you think nobody has gone before. Go to your new careers. Don't be intimidated. Dream big. Some things aren't going to work out. Just keep applying and applying and applying. It just might be the wrong place, wrong time. You have to shift it. I just talked to a woman today with the most brilliant script, and all she needs to do is put it in front of the right people. It's actually ingenious. I recommended that she make a little YouTube video. Who has time to read a script? But they might have time for a video. So that advice goes out to all of you, although she paid for it. I think she's willing to share. And look, there are opportunities. Do not look at the negative side. You have to be realistic. Everything's going to change in terms of business. Don't reject any ideas, but if you get them, make sure it hits check and see if it hits your true spot, and then don't talk yourself out of it. There are so many opportunities for regular people to do really great things right now.
Yeah, I agree with you.
Sure, go ahead. Did you want to target the question at all? Or is that enough?
Well, yeah, you did the job market future, and that was the thing is talking about the job market where everything is going technical, and will there be baby boomers retiring in mass? And a lot of times, I think you're right, is that they do get frustrated and they're like, forget this, I'm out, and all of that. So I think that is going to be both. But it's just like like with me with dyslexia, I have to navigate the world differently. And I had to literally learn different pathways to get around that so that I can be successful. I am an avid YouTube. I will. How do I put this together? And there's a video out there. Somebody will teach you how to do it.
Yeah. Well, and look how successful you are. I mean, I'd say the limitations actually made you the brilliant woman you are today. So, it might seem like it first, but it's not. Even if that just means a new way to plant things in your garden.
Correct. Yeah, it was just another. Yeah, it was just another way I had to navigate how, to do things. See, when I have to write a report, I'm not the person to sit down and just like and shoot it out. I'm the person that has to, sit back and rewrite and make sure that everything looks right. I have to take that time. But yeah. I get that too. So, and then the last question was, is remote work the new normal?
Yeah.
Like the remote viewing like we're doing?
Well, I was going to just interject that. Don't think, about someone. You can find the right person to help you with, whatever issue you're going through, and start thinking of exchanges. I started a lot of my work in exchanges. I'm still doing exchanges now. That's going to be part of a future. And did you ask about remote work?
Well, somebody wants to know if this the new normal. Is remote work the new normal for us as psychic? I think I really I love to hear what Spirit has to tell you about that.
Let's see. I get a 65% of the people who are working on Zoom. Maybe you'll be working the same day, but 65% of the meetings will now be on Zoom. So this is a good thing for the environment. So yeah, learn how to use Zoom. That's pretty much a one-way ticket to success. A lot of people, bosses like that, employees like that, insurance companies like that, the environment likes that. It's one of the good things that we have been forced to do. Is there anything else? No, I'm just getting that. Mostly we're going to be changing to Zoom. Over time, we will probably continue each year to be a little bit more Zoom.
Yeah, I have a lot of professionals that I talk to, and they absolutely love the fact that they were forced to do Zoom meetings. And there was a few things. Number one, they didn't have to worry about travel time. Number two, they don't have to. Everybody can be at home or in the office. Everybody was showing up to meetings way more than they were trying to drive there and get there and be late. And I can't make it this time. It was so easy. And the other thing was that the information was really being distributed a whole heck of a lot easier because everybody could be there and write down and be quiet and and stuff. So they really enjoyed it, and they really want to move forward and keep that aspect of their job with them with their meetings. There's always a meeting.
COVID.
Yeah, exactly. I think COVID really brought forth a lot for us, to be honest. A lot of good stuff, a lot of good stuff. But
there was a sacrifice.
So, yes. Well, we were forced to look at things differently. How else was this society and this whole world going to do that?
How much would we learn, Sheila, if you and I had to share the home with a bunch of screaming children and we both had to work in a separate room? I mean, we might kill each other. We might become better friends.
There was that. For sure. All right. So, can you imagine? Speaking about children, though, can you imagine the parents, the children seeing their parents more than they have in their whole life?
Bless parents and bless children, right?
Exactly.
Like Noah's Ark.
That is a lifestyle, let me tell you.
Yeah. I can tell you know it better than myself. Bless you all.
Exactly. All right, so I have another one that says, this one, I don't know where this question came from, but I'm just going to ask it to you, and maybe you know. It says, were horses specifically made for humans?
Yeah. Now, not Shetland ponies, okay, because they're a little bit small. We might say those were made for.
We do have the LP, the Little People Society.
Well, I was going to say maybe the shorter guys. I do have ancestors from Shetland, so maybe they're my peeps, ponies. That horses made from humans. That is such a cool question because it's funny because I'm seeing like the sinews of the horse, the muscles, and I'm going to kind of say, well, yeah. I do believe that all of these things are sort of created, some might say by spirit or God, that they are, there's evolution. I totally believe in science, but there's also kind of an urge, and I can see this horse being created, this beautiful animal. It's almost like I want to say they're not just for work. The horses were also made for humans to see something very noble that is beautiful and works hard and just exists almost for us to see this creation. Again, I don't care if it's science or God. Look at that horse, it could just, it could just evolve. That's great. But it could also be sort of influenced. I see people creating it. And I see people creating varieties of horses in different places. So maybe that little horse is just for us to look at and admire. It shouldn't be, or Shetland shouldn't be for us to ride, no matter what size we are. I'll be riding horses because I like them. I think they're so noble. I think that they could be made by spirit, really.
I know back in the Native American folklore, and these are just stories that are passed down. Nothing has been written down, or anything like that. But I remember listening to a person who does sweat lodges, and he was sitting there talking about horses. And back when the Native Americans were taking on the horses and using them, they literally asked the horse, do you want to work with me? I'm willing to work with you. And it was an agreement that they made with the animals in the world and especially with their horses. They didn't go and make them work for them. They just asked, would you like to help me out, and be that agreement. So I think maybe that's where the question is coming from. Were they specifically made for humans? Sure. But I think all animals and everything that we have, we are able to make agreements with them if we do it respectfully.
Yeah. Yeah, don't look him in the mouth.
Yeah, you can
Take a step back.
definitely.
Mm.
And I'm pretty sure they probably had a few horses out there and said, "Nah, nah, I don't want to work with you.
You're
I'm
not the
not
right
doing it.
move.
Yeah, I don't like
Move
you."
on. Move on.
Yeah. All right, so here we go. So we have one more. Morris that says, "Will the corruption of Joe Manchin be revealed?"
Mhm.
That's kind of already convicting him. So maybe we
Okay.
should go and see what Joe Manchin. Just go
Sure.
into Joe Manchin. Yeah,
I'm
without.
gonna clear out my own judginess. No
Yeah.
judginess. I'm really
See what
clear.
Spirit has to say.
I have my opinions. Clear them away. Okay,
Yes.
Joe. Kind of funny that his name is Joe, though, isn't it? Just your
Yes.
average Joe. Joe Manchin. How does that make any sense? I don't know. But yeah, I wonder what his middle name is. Um, so Joe Manchin. Perfect name for a centrist, isn't it? Now, notice these names, right? They carry more meaning than we expect. Joe Manchin. What's Joe Manchin doing? Well, I almost want to say he's not such a bad guy. Like, again, it's almost like, well, yeah, the money's there. But you know what Joe says to me? Did I really have an option? If you want to be a president now, if you want to be any politician, you got to have money bags behind you. And really, he says, it's not a system I created. It's a system that I am in. And like everybody else, I'm trapped. I'm trapped in a web. I don't think that he is such a bad person in a sense. I don't agree with centrism for the most part, although I'm changing a little bit on that. I think that he really is trying to figure out some way. Obviously, there's ego involved. You can't be a politician without ego, even if you're Abraham Lincoln. But he's there going, I'm really trying to, yeah, I have this money, and yeah, I like to get fed, and I like my job, and I don't want to find a new one. But also, there is a moral imperative where, crazy though they might be, I want some right wingers to come to the table. And maybe if I bring that, there will be more peace. We will be able to move forward. I'm a centrist. It's making me be powerful. People are looking at me. But tell me more about Joe. There is a crown over his head, though. And the crown makes me think about a little bit, he is a little bit liking the attention. I mean, he's a kingmaker now. That is part of his DNA. I would say that he likes the position of power more than the money just in his cash in the pocket. Now, there's nothing in a sense wrong with, we all like to have some power. And if y'all have power, you should yield it in a good way. And maybe you do need to bring people together and compromise. But, here's something that he does. He takes off his ring. What does that mean, Joe? Why do you take off your ring? The money is not as important. We might not agree with him. We might not like him, but there's more to Joe than meets the eye. There is something beneath, and that is earnest. He would like to do the right thing. He's not a racist, for example. He doesn't care that the woman next to him is black. He would like to work with her, but he must concede he also has to work with the other party. There are, yeah, every politician's got a little, should you have taken that money from the pharmacy? Should you have? People were hurt. Joe says people are going to be hurt anyway. It doesn't matter what decision I make. The horse you were talking about has shown up. The horse doesn't want him to ride. He's like, no, you're okay. But I do think like Joe will become more worthy. He will change, and he will make a decision. I would actually ask, and I hope this isn't patronizing, ask, pray for Joe's better enlightenment, right? Pray for his movement forward. He is going to move forward. It'll take a while. Maybe in 6 months, he might rearrange the filibuster. he's just as frustrated as all of us in a way. I don't feel like he will be exposed because the things that he's done wrong are not technically illegal. They are the same things that every politician must do to succeed. We might think of Bernie Sanders or AOC as exceptions. They don't take money from corporate bodies, but that's 1% of them. Most of them, especially in a conservative place, have to take it. He's kind of a guy who takes off his cowboy hat. He doesn't come in shame. He wants to come in power, but without the hat. He will change the hat. That's what I get.
Yeah. It's been a mixed bag of readings for me too. So you're right on the money with that. At one point over here, he really wants to work with him, and then the other one over here, he's almost too Republican on some of his thing. It's been he's been all over the place, and I hope he gets it together. You know what I mean? Because we really need him to get it together.
We need change.
Yeah, we need him to get it together. So the next one is, and I think the recounting has stopped, if I remember right.
Yeah.
But I think, will the Arizona stop all the recounting soon? But I think Jackie, I know Jackie's here. Hi, Jackie. Maybe she can Google for me. I think the recounting has changed, and they have moved to. It's just been weird. But can you go into the energy of the Arizona recounting issue of the ballots? To give it a little bit about that.
Sorry, I was looking at the commenter for a moment. I saw my name, but tell me the question.
Go for it.
Yeah. Can you tell me the question again?
The question is about Arizona, about the recount in Arizona. If you can just kind of go in there and generally see what's going.
I was getting numbers, and it's funny because you go 1, 2, 3, 4. The numbers, some of the numbers are being repeated. 1, 22, 3, 4. Something's very wrong, obviously, with the recount. They're not counting correctly. People already know this. But then the results are put forward. People are like smiling, like, yeah, believe me. But they almost hit with a complete thud. They even seem to maybe have the opposite effect. They're showing the desperation of a Republican Party trying to reclaim their power. That old myth that the stories that are told on conservatives' networks, the fake stories, picking one detail that Elizabeth Warren once said she was Native American and now she's not president. That scenario is becoming very tired. People are, those people are aging out of our system. And they're now kind of presenting as an example of the way not to do things. What could be more ridiculous than taking our votes and giving them to a private organization to recount something that we've already paid to recount twice? It cost Georgia $7 million for the recounts. Why am I paying for that for Trump's ego? And I don't want to totally politicize this, but it doesn't. Nobody seems to care. If anything, I see politicians going like this. Oh God, no! What? It's just going to divide their party. You're going to be a politician. Did you believe in the recount or not? Now you got to make a statement, yes or no. Half the people are going to hate your guts. It's not going anywhere for them.
Well, they have to prove whatever they say.
Yeah, it'll cause problems. It'll cause more problems for them than it will solve. It's a waste of time. In a way, it's good because it's just like having them just swim in place frantically, as they sink. I hate to put such a dark image on it, but that's the Republican Party that I'm seeing right now.
Exactly. Yep. And I agree with you 100% that the recount is just turning the waters. It's just they're out in the middle of the lake on their little paddle boat, and they're just paddling to get to shore, and that's exactly the scene I see as well. So yeah.
Well, looking at Hillary Clinton's Benghazi 10 times, that did them some political good, right? I mean, they just repeated it, and people believed it, and that
they did.
It didn't matter what that's not going to work so much in the future. It's not going to work. Yeah.
Well, they've been at it for almost what 2 months now, and we haven't heard anything. You know what I mean? So they're having a hard time spinning this. And I get so angry too. How dare they touch the ballots, our sacred ballots?
They
Who gave
are.
them the right to touch our sacred ballots and move them
Yes.
out of state? Because apparently they've taken a whole bunch of them to now Montana. How dare they do that?
Right.
Who gave them permission to do that?
These are our
Yeah.
votes. We
Yeah.
paid for these. It's our government.
Yeah. So that's bothersome to me as well. Okay. So let's see what we have here. Has Rhona Graf, do you know who Rhona Graf is? I don't know who Rhona Graf flipped. Has Rhona Graf flipped? And what will be the consequences? Do you know who that is?
You know, and forgive me, you guys, I kind of stopped watching the news because in a way that's leaving me quite I don't know who the heck she is. I don't have an opinion. So tell me as much as you like.
I don't know who Rhona Graf is. Maybe somebody in the...
Okay.
I'm sorry, I usually go through these and get
No
more
worries.
information.
No problem.
Trump's secretary.
Okay.
So she was...
That's right. Oh, yeah. Is it Graf? Do you know? Graf?
Yeah. Yes.
Yeah. Again, notice the names.
Yes.
Graf and corruption. Whoa, is she freaking out?
Yeah, she was Trump's secretary.
She's like, hey, I'm just a secretary. Don't get me involved in this. Okay, this is what she does. She's in the office. It's really crammed with stuff because she is not well treated. She gets the crappy office and the crappy jobs. You know, like the secretary is often like the hit person. They're the one who has to know where all the bodies are buried, and they get the crappy job, and they're making $75K. You know, and she's just like, you know, I am me. I'm really talented. I could make more money, but I'm working for these guys. She's in a lousy office. There are files, and she's pretty much like, this is not worth it. Here are the files. You just go to town. I don't want to have anything to do with this. And they're like, the FBI says, well, you know, that's not really an option. What are you going to do? And she's like, literally, she cries. She's worried about her family. She's worried about not seeing her kids. She's worried about death threats. She could be in front of Congress giving her testimony and be humiliated in public. Everybody.
She's gonna flip. So she's going to flip. She's going to just say,
no choice. She's got no choice. She's weighing humiliation and potentially not seeing, I don't know if she has children, but I see a couple of kids crying. She's like, I'm not going to forget me. I'm not putting my kids through that. I would rather lose my reputation among these particular people. She will go, she will be honest. She talks to a man already who has, you know, how they play good cop, bad cop. She's talking to the good cop who wears, of course, he wears a striped suit. He's an FBI agent. She cries. She begs him. He says, okay. He takes her at his word, but you got to work with me. She might even, maybe I shouldn't say this, but she might even like try to wear a wire.
Like try to kiss. Yeah. This is for entertainment purposes only.
Yes. Anything for her children. She will do anything for her children.
Oh, good.
Criticize her if you will, but she will do anything for those kids.
Good. All right, so we'll kind of move on for that one.
Sure.
The next one is, will Trump be called to testify in person?
My immediate answer is yes, he will. He is pissed off. He is going to testify. He is pissed me. Surprise, surprise. The former guy's angry. First time we all saw that, isn't it? But I see him. First of all, the depositions. He throws cameras against the wall. He's so mad about the depositions. And cops are literally there going, we're not playing that way. You are not my boss, okay? Sit down and answer it. I mean, I literally see like a guy is ready to hit him. Like, take him by the tie and throw him in the chair. We've had enough. Stop being a baby. We don't work for you anymore. Here are the depositions.
Do you know what channel that's going to be on? Because we all want to watch that.
Yeah, and I want to actually be one of those guys. I never wanted to be an FBI guy before, but also they're just lawyers, and they're like, dude, I'm paid to do this. You don't intimidate me. Like, who do you think you are? And so you just then give that. That'll be the first step. There'll be many depositions, at least 3. I see, of course, a moon. So I think it's like in a couple of months. Maybe they'll even come monthly. Um, it might not be till next year. Don't be impatient to see the justice and understand that it's chipping away at him every single day. His life is far worse than we imagine it to be. There is a time he goes, it might be for a few years. I see him much older, but he's aging quickly. He's dying. Let's just put it that way. His bad health is catching up to him. He's got something wrong with his stomach. Maybe even life or death illness. And while that's chipping away at him, he's a little less energy to throw down because he sits in front of the Senate. And mollycoddle him on the right a little bit, but they're not happy with Trump. They want his supporters, but they're not happy. The right-wing government would do anything to get rid of this guy that's dividing them. So they're going to set it up like, oh, here's a softball question. You're not going to get that from Eric Swalwell. He is pissed. And we all want him to respond to his, to these accusations. We want him to do that. It's fair of us to ask, for justice's sake, that these people be held at least on TV verbally accountable as, regular, as Dr. Fauci has. It's fair. That is not a mean thing to want. And it's going to happen 95%. It's going to happen, I'd even say 99%, because it should. And again, we want to be able, the universe wants to be able to us to see him for what he is, just for whatever the past is about. He's very, very angry. He'll do anything to get out of it. That's the other thing. He'll do anything to get out of it. But I don't think he's going to succeed.
I think you're bringing up a really great point, is that we're watching manifestation in front of us. Like what you think about, you bring about, right? So he has talked about corruption with this person. This person's mad. This one's, and look at how much it has piled on about to him. So it's like we're watching manifestation in real time. To a person who has done all that. And I also wanted to say hi, Geek Hillbilly. I haven't seen him in the chats in quite some time, and I really wanted to say hi to him.
Somebody's giving 600 thumbs up. I'm just going to give it back.
Yeah, welcome back. Yeah, welcome back. Okay. So the next one is, what does Ivanka Trump think about what's going on?
You know what she thinks? And this is sad to say, makes me feel empathy for her, although we might criticize her, obviously. She actually thinks, I'm not as lucky as I was. She thinks, this is the sad part about being beautiful. I'm never going to be as beautiful as I was before my father was the president. I'll never have the same chances again. I should have got out when I had the time. I should have flown to California and just, learned to tap dance. I shouldn't have done it. How unlucky. She's like, it's ironic. How unlucky I am that I have this famous dad and I lived in the White House. I didn't even like the White House, particularly for her. It was old and cramped and musty. Not her style at all. It's like, it's really stupid, you guys, but it's like she's thinking of cutting her hair. And that might seem so banal, but she's just like, people know what I look like now. And maybe if I cut my hair, I'd look different and I'd have a different, how depressing that is in a way? Like, I'm not going anywhere. Maybe I change my apartment. No, it's not. She's quite a hopeless person. She'll never be as famous, happy, beautiful. Problems with the husband. Very much worries about her kids. She is very bad. I mean, like the other lady. She cries when she thinks about this. She goes away. She goes to the bathroom and she bawls her eyes out. She doesn't want her husband to see because that will just worry him and the kids. I mean, we got to have empathy for everyone here. And I actually, in this moment, I have empathy for somebody she's got more diamonds than houses. It's pathetic and sad in a way. She's going to be a regular person in a lot of. She won't have the money, so even if she doesn't, I don't think that she will. I've sometimes said that she will go to jail. I'm getting maybe more like a probationary type deal, maybe a short stint in she jail. The fear of jail and the poverty, the real poverty. I mean, it is karmic. I think it's fair for us to ask wealthy people to experience poverty. This is capitalism, right? It's talking capitalism, it's talking, it's fighting. Now it's really fighting. But she's not the winner of that conversation. One thing is, there's this movie, The Magnificent Ambersons, and in the movie, the wealthy people, I don't want to give away the end, but it's just sort of about how capitalism, it's not permanent. It allows people to rise to the surface and they can try to cling to it, but it's never going to be permanent. Even if it lasts 10 generations, it won't stick. She's realizing that now. It depresses her that her family is in ruins, personally, financially, politically, socially. She's shunned. When she goes to parties, people don't like her. We've seen that.
Yeah, we have. So I have I have a little side question with that from
Right.
me. Is was she gullible? I mean, she's been taught all of her life how to navigate the law.
True.
But is this like a huge awakening for her to see her husband, or not her husband, but her father in a different light? Like with just her, because the boys are still on board with their father, but is she, because in the news they're talking about her and Jared have now separated, and
Oh, really? Okay.
yeah, they have separated. In the news it's talking about that. There's rumor that they have separated, they're not affiliated with them anymore, and they're trying to
I did not know that. That's maybe why I'm seeing her crying in the bathroom.
yeah.
And again, empathy. All of us have lost our relationships when they didn't work out. There's just a Cinderella or Wicked Witch version of that.
Right.
There is a story there for all of us. But yeah, I mean, I see a setting sun. She, I'll believe it or not, me, Dave Johnson, I have a friend that went to school with her, that went to Wharton, right? And that's like, if you want to take over the banking system, that's where you go. And he said she wasn't really nice to me. He liked her. She could be very friendly on a personal level. Just had a bad luck dad. If Lincoln were her dad, she'd be in a much better place. Let's maybe even take a step back and look at it as the story of all women and men who got in the wrong relationship, or all women and men who deferred their own integrity for the benefit of someone. I will confess, I lied for someone who I loved, and it was wrong. So that's where she is, realizing that there was more to life and that she was used, just like Nixon used his kids. It's cost her a lot. It's cost her family, which is more important than the money. She didn't start, your viewers, good to point out, she didn't start out, she thought, I will be able to help women in business. I will be able to even help minorities in business. I've never met a minority, maybe, but I will do the right thing. And in that sense of, and I hope I'm not mean saying I'm sure she did mean a minority.
Well,
but,
yeah, I mean, we want to make sure that the people in the chat know that we have no sympathy for her. She is a grown woman. She made her own decisions, her own choices.
That's true.
So be it that she had been trained ever since she was a little girl, and we're still a little indifferent and queasy about the relationship she's had with her father. Okay,
and
however,
yeah.
But you are, I love that's what I love about you, David, is that you literally tap into the human nature. I mean,
Hmm.
whether she's a Trump or not, she's still a human being. And
Yeah.
you're tapping into even her own difficulties and
Humanity.
what she's dealing
Right.
with emotionally, because that
Right.
was the question, right? Is
Yeah.
how does she feel about things and what's she thinking about
Hmm.
it? So
Hmm. Well,
yes, thank you.
all of us are important. All the viewers
Yes.
are important. All of us are engaging in this. Maybe this is an example of someone we don't want to be, but that also telling something about each other. No one's perfect. We could be 1% her.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. Everybody could be going through something like that, but
Hmm.
we definitely don't want to elevate her as an
Right.
example.
Yes. Not my daughter.
No, 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 no. Okay, so the next one is says, first of all, greetings. So hello. Says, what has Lindsey Graham been up to lately? Other than appearing on Fox, he's not really made any statements.
Okay, you guys. He's a public person, so I can talk about him. Lindsey Graham is in a closet right now. Okay, you can take that symbolically if you wish. He's
And this
sorting.
is and this is and this is a man seeing a man,
Yeah,
right?
this is a gay man speaking. I'm like he's sorting out the shoes. Some of them are pointy. I think Lindsey has some secrets. Maybe this is just a symbolic thing. Maybe he has something in the closet he doesn't want to show us. But I see him sorting shoes. Hey, this could be money. I'm putting the shoes that uh, are not flattering. Um, I mean, hey, look, if you talk to drag queens, there's certain places where you can go, right? There's only so many places that have a size 14, for women. There's that, but that's what I see him. Again, I have no idea if he's gay or transsexual or not really, but this symbolism is let's hide the shoes. There's something that he's hiding, and he's very nervous about it. He would love to disappear. Ironic for a politician. He would love to disappear. He's afraid, and he is afraid for his physical life. He looks shifty. He looks like who's watching me. And he's very exposed out in the media. He's more afraid of the right than the left. Far, far more afraid. He hides things. And then, I don't know if people do this, but he's hiding things in the shoes, but they're open toed. You can't have
Oh,
an open toed shoe,
is
you
it a
know.
Snickers bar? Is it candy?
Are
Just
you
curious.
revealing something not revealing to earlier?
so, so what is he up to politically? Is he just trying to stay out of the limelight, or?
Yes. 6 years. He's too old. He's not going to run again after this. He's just trying to get his way into the retirement and the pension and go unnoticed. That also includes he's got to go unnoticed by the people who support him. So he doesn't want to make any waves. He doesn't want to make any moves. It would be ideal if just, some of this stuff just went away and he faded into, one thing again. It is a punishment for him that he's no longer able to be out front and center. He gave up his friend. He gave up his country, in my opinion. So what's he going to do? Just try to fade away. And it's, again, hate to have sympathy for the devil. But, he just takes out a pair of chucks, takes out a pair of sneakers, and he's like, I'm not special anymore. I don't even have special secrets. I have to replace them with these dirty old sneakers that anybody would wear. I'm going to sit on my porch and grow old. Neighbors don't say hello anymore. I might as well go and live on my own. I made a mistake, a lot of them.
Yeah,
Don't even feel sorry for him. He could be just an example of a man who has given up his soul.
yeah, no kidding. We call him the flip flop.
So shoes again.
Yeah, he flip flops all over the place. He's a flip flop. All right. So the next one: will Trump succeed on the rally in Ohio and Florida this year?
Wow, no.
Yeah.
Don't be surprised if he's too ill to show up. They'll make an excuse. but his heart hurts. That could be little, physical problem, but it could also be just, in his heart he hurts. Ooh, picture frame. It could even be last minute he pulls out. There's not enough people. People think that he's still popular with the right, but that's mostly because those people have nowhere else to go. You can't follow through on the conspiracy theory. He is, he will 85% he will cancel. The money's dwindling. He's getting weaker and weaker, just personally and socially. You've seen recently Trump just crashes weddings to try to convince him that he won. He's really, I'll just use
He needs an audience.
He's lame. He doesn't have Twitter. He's a lame duck.
Yeah, he definitely craves the audience. Here's another one that says, I am hoping you can look into when the history of humanity did the decision that the color of your skin was a factor of how you were treated and was the less or better than. So where in the somewhere in our history at some point in time, who made the decision that a color of your skin was all of a sudden now a measurement of who you are?
Yeah, well, if I might do one thing, and it's just curious to bring your viewers in here and just ask them, what do they think about this? And we can see their comments here and say, what do you guys think? I'm much more interested these days in finding out what people think than telling them what I intuit, if you will. And we can go to their own intuition. So feel free, you guys, while we're talking about this, to put in your own, who cares? When did this matter?
Yeah.
My first shot is, distinctions and differences. Sheila's different from me. There's beauty in that. Who cares? My hair is brown. Sheila has beautiful gray hair. That's all, it wouldn't be interesting otherwise, right? If I might add, if you think of
was our power, and then they took away our power.
Yes, right. Like Samson. I'm becoming like Samson, losing my hair. But I see a lady who is Black and she's really in love with a man who's not the same skin color as her. She looks really radiant and beautiful, and she's got beautiful red jewels, rubies. Think of how courageous these two people are, that they would be in love with each other. Both cultures are going to be a little bit skeptical as they move through. So one thing I think that this does offer all of us is it offers us the ability to have courage and to move beyond what others think. You might even think, if you go to a party, nobody cares that you're a mixed race couple. That's going to be a great party. Those are your people. Okay, now at least you know which parties are going to be fun. Okay, when did just let's see what they think. It's a natural anthropology. One lady says, I think that's Say La Vie, I'm assuming this lady. Someone says Cleveland. I assume that's somebody. We're all God's children. Yeah, how great that we could all realize this. Great question. Yeah, I think all of you are going to be right here. I love difference. The fact that I'm a not heterosexual guy, it just makes me understand women better and Black people better. I'm not either of those. I didn't have their experience, but we can understand each other in some ways, maybe that other people aren't. We're not the top dogs all the time. Keep in mind that even the top dogs weren't sometimes. Great movie, Angel at My Table. You got to watch it. You'll cry 5 times. But she's white, but she experiences that moment of humiliation when the teacher humiliates you in front of the class. And in the range, sometimes you're feeling her, you feel really sad, but you're laughing, kind of, because we all went through that. I almost want to sit a Republican down in front of that and say, we all felt like the outsider. We were all the person that people made fun of. We're all desperately trying not to be that guy or to defend that guy or whatever. I didn't. Why do you think? Yin and yang. One's got to know the other. I feel like I just had this great experience at the Ayers Rock. I don't think I could have had that if it weren't Aboriginal people there. Their story was there. I don't even entirely know how to say it, but I slept on it because their story is attached to the land. And where would I be without their help? I've had other revelations before. I guess I would encourage people to look at the beauty of difference. There's some people who just care and cross those lines, and I just, you and I and most of us out there who are watching who don't. Why did
Well,
spirit?
somebody in power has to make sure that when they're suppressing someone or something, they have to be recognizable. And
Yes.
I think there was a mentality because it was not always just the skin of the color. It could have been just that you were a Hebrew, or you were,
Right.
anything. It's like anything other than. It was an
Yeah.
other than situation.
Yeah.
And in order for them to have power, they had to make sure that the enemy was recognizable. And what are the best ways to do that, right? But
Yeah.
why? What is it? I'm curious about this question. We may have to percolate on it and think about it. And this may be just an
Mhm.
ancient answer that as a human beings, we really, really need to open up the information. But
Yes.
I am also very curious as where did this begin? Who gave them the message that
Do
it was what we're supposed to be doing as an evolved species? Because I think the
that. Yeah.
moment that was decided, we devolved and we
Yes.
became,
But fair
yeah.
enough. Fair enough. The difference is beautiful. Universe is talking to itself. I totally believe in reincarnation, and I believe that I've been totally different, absolutely
Yeah.
different races. And although I have ancestors that had slaves. One of them had a lot of slaves, as well as I have ancestors that are totally radical anti-slavery people. I do have to think about all these things as I interact. Hey, where did my college money come from? I do also believe
Right.
that, in some past time I was at the other side of it and, didn't lead such a fortunate life. So, I believe we have to experience this from many different perspectives. I'm not justifying the oppressor or the oppression,
No.
but I think we have taken roles in all of these. When I work with my clients, past lives, they have had horrific lives of many races and happy lives of many races.
Absolutely. And
Mm.
I always say, somebody always asks that question, how do we stop racism? And I always say that it is done from me. If somebody comes up to me and asks me if I want to hear a racist joke, I have an opportunity right then and there to explain to them that is not appropriate.
So not okay. Yeah.
Yeah, it's not okay. So in my peripheral, all the people that I come across and anybody that I interact with, which is thousands of people through. I'm 50 years old. I've met a lot of people. If
Yeah.
I always keep that approach, I can infect them, and then hopefully that also,
Mhm.
we can make a difference. And I've always said this. I said our African American people cannot fix the white people racism. White people have to fix white
Yeah.
people
Right.
racism.
Right. I would say also
Bottom line,
African American people, Native people, whatever people. It's
Native, yes, absolutely.
really important that you go to your ancestors. You might not even know who they are. I don't necessarily know who mine are. It's really important that you connect with them and that they share their wisdom with you. Again, I don't care if you're from Papua New Guinea.
Correct.
What your ancestors, how can they help? They want to help you. If you can imagine that they did go through the horrors of slavery, they're going to have some really great advice for you if you connect with
Yes.
them. They don't have to write their name and show you their birth date or anything. I do this, meditate on them, connect to them. They will show themselves little by little. And if you ask them for help, they will, especially if you say, and what can I do for you? They might say,
Yes. Yes.
you
Yes.
know, you
I'm
know,
Absolutely. They have something. They are on the other side, and then they
yes.
and they know something. Definitely tap into their wisdom for sure.
Hmm. Hmm.
All right. So the next one is are the Supreme Court justices fighting, getting along? Kagan keeps messing with Kavanaugh. Do you know anything about this story?
Who's messing with Kavanaugh?
I did. So somebody says, are the Supreme Court justices fighting or getting along? They're like, are they fighting,
Hmm.
getting
Hmm.
along? What are they
They're
doing?
not getting
Because it
along.
looks like Kagan keeps
Oh.
messing with Kavanaugh.
Okay, well, let's just
Am I
all I
saying that name right?
I think you're right. pagan. Let's all just identify with the girl power here, okay? Men or women, but girl power, go. You know, so lots of women out there and they're doing really active things in the great way that often women do that are just more related and not screaming and just like, hey, what do you think? You know, asserting themselves. So let's all, you know, cheer her on. She's an ideal that young women, men out there right now, whatever color, can identify. Someday you too can be the justice there. I love her. I love her energy as I see it right now. Got to tell you, you know what she does? She puts on really bright red lipstick, just like my mom used to. And it's like, here I am. I may be a Supreme Court justice, but don't deny my femininity. I can wear this lipstick if I choose. Kavanaugh is so angry. He does not like women telling him what to do. So there's just, you know, that's just one thing.
Hold on, let me enjoy that. Hold on, let me enjoy that for a minute.
I look forward to the day when you,
well, you know,
what to do.
It's been joy. In religion, especially the religion I was raised up in, is that women do not wear red fingernail polish, and they don't wear red lipstick because it makes them look like, as the Bible would say, the harlot. It would make that's the reason for why you're seeing that.
Right.
The reason why it would irritate him is because, like, I have power here. I can wear whatever color I want to. It doesn't make me anything. So I think that's the reason why you're seeing that.
Well, my mom, you know, she had 4 kids, so there were no nails going on, but she has the red lipstick and, you know, looked great. I mean, she looked great in that. I guess I would, you know, she's also Episcopalian. Maybe that explains it. May I ask what religion that was?
Well, I don't want to name it because that religion could be helping somebody, but it's a very well-known religion,
okay.
and it's not really the only religion that did this, where they would make sure that women, you know, like you couldn't wear anything short sleeved, you couldn't wear anything above the knee, you know. I mean, they really had some particular things that made sure that woman stayed exactly the way we want you to.
Yeah, you got to have a bad haircut or it's all, you know, we're all done, you know, Well, I have the power to make your hair look terrible. Yeah, I think that I'm kind of, you know, it's hideous to watch, but Kavanaugh is really freaking out here. He is spinning like a Tasmanian devil. I can say that having been to Tasmania now. He is stomping his, look, I got to say, something is afoot. Something is going to change in the Supreme Court in a way that I don't think we've ever seen before. I think people might be asked to leave. I think they might choose to leave because someone is going to expose them. There feels like, and I know there was another question about this on your show, so I don't know this. I've just heard from your viewers. There is an ethical question for at least 2 people. I think it's Amy Barrett and Kavanaugh's big ethical questions. We kind of already knew that. It's even having to do with money. It's having to do with, obviously, the way that some of these characters treat women. There are skeletons, but it has also to do with Kavanaugh did some unethical things that are illegal, like, you know, looking at paperwork that he shouldn't have been looking at and politicizing it. You know, so there are levels of irony here. He is. I'm just going to say this. He'll go first. Amy might follow him, but he will go first. Controversy, again, not suiting the Republican Party. They've chosen a mess of a person just for the sake of pissing people off. That was a really bad idea. I mean, do all of us out there, you know, really want abortion to become impossible to get, even if you're not going to have one? Obviously, I'm not, even if you don't necessarily support it, which I do. I support a woman's right to choose. There are central people who are like, you know, that's not my business. That's up to her. That's up to the family. There are so many reasons why people decide to, you know, make those choices and that's their choice to make. They're not happy with this Supreme Court. There is an urge on our part to change it. In that sense, you know, it might be just a metaphysical thing. We're still a democracy, and we still matter in the sense of cognitively, intuitively saying no. it shouldn't be a bunch of, religious fanatic males. Kagan's on it. She's great. And I would say send your love to Kagan. Send your powers to her. She will rise just as other women are rising all over the place, and some men and minorities who will say no. I like her almost like I like Harriet Tubman, but she has power more. Harriet also had power, but she's like in the mix of the power. She's a player. Gold bricks. She shows me gold bricks. He did something with money. He was broke. He was a gambler. He is a kind of guy who wouldn't enjoy a baseball game unless he invited 30 of his friends, which he did. And so he is broke. There is no reason why a man who makes as much money as he does, who comes from a rich background, should be like $700,000 in debt. He's got a problem either with gambling, with alcohol, with secrets, and somebody paid them off. That's not quite legal. They could get in a lot of trouble. Maybe even cause him to resign in humiliation. He will not want to do that. He might not have a choice. He will be the first to go, I think.
Yeah, it brings to mind is like, have you ever had that one coworker that you go to work with and he's arrogant? And he's a bully, but he can't do anything about how you poke the bear. Yeah. That's what I feel like he's doing.
Poke
him again. Poke him again.
Yeah. Are you choice, Bob? I'd love to hear your thoughts.
Exactly. Exactly.
Women power. See what you say. Right, that'd be great.
She's like the poker, so yeah, I get it.
I can tell you were the poker sometimes, Sheila. I can just tell.
I have done that. I have to admit that I was like, oh, you're arrogant. Oh, this is going to be fun for me. Yeah, this is going to be fun for me. It won't be for you, but this interaction is going to be fun for me.
Yeah.
All right. So I've also had to go back and apologize on a few things, but those were younger years. I've learned since then. So we also have Betsy DeVos. Will she be charged with any crimes?
I always get like this. You talk about her.
I know, like
scummy. Yeah. What happened to your soul, Betsy? Yeah, it's just, God, it's great. Money just does not bring happiness, She could have sat at home and ate bonbons all day, and instead she's got to prove that she deserves that money. Betsy, what you doing? Yeah, troubles. I don't think it will end in jail time or anything like that dramatic. She's being humiliated, even at her shishi parties. Look, she goes to church. There are people who stand there and saying, if Jesus wasn't here right now, I'd slap that woman across the face. How could she do that to those children? I mean, there are Republican women who are 89, who want to smack her right across the face. They are just disgusted. I see a woman go like this and spit at her feet. Now, I know no women just don't do that. Good for you. But that's what she thinks. She's just... Yeah. Just kidding. I don't want to undermine your powers. But she and there's a veil. She wears a wedding veil to cover who she is, and she married the wrong guy. I think this is figurative. She wed Trump. So she has her regrets. A lot of things will be exposed. Darkness. There's nowhere for her to go, really, in terms of she can float around in her swimming pools and things, but it doesn't have much meaning. If so far as she believes herself to be a Christian woman, she has undermined her own beliefs and ideals, even in her own church. That is about her soul, and she knows it. She's facing death. I mean, we all are, but she's facing it. And she knows that between here and there, there's nothing to satisfy her. There are no ethics, no people, no love. She's alone.
Are there charges coming for her?
I wouldn't say charges. She set this up such that she could have others be the fall guys or fall ladies. She set that up. So, and she's got too much money and too much time. She doesn't need to go to court. She just sends the lawyers. But charges. There is a judge who humiliates her and gives her what for. It's a man, actually. He gives her what for. He says, where are those kids? I mean, forget her punishment. I want to know where those kids are. And that's the judge, like a lady judge comes and says, this is not okay. Where are those children? You will find them. And she's sort of compelled to help find them. And each day it's like, how you did what? Where's the paperwork? You sent them to be adopted by who? I'm going to be like the judge and say, you need to find every single one of them. And she will not succeed. They will not find them. Some of them will be lost. In maybe a good way, they'll just sort of go and they'll be sort of repatriated into the country in a sort of sideways way. We'll find them in 20 years and they'll be okay. They'll have their own stories and they will find peace. But she's going to be punished. She won't go to jail. She's too rich. Her brother might. He was a really bad guy, Prince. Is she going to go to jail? No. She have to pay a lot of money, though. That's not going to matter to her, but it's symbolic humiliation of no jail time, but a punishment of a kind.
Yeah. Yeah, I've gotten that with her as well. But I also have gotten, even though she's ultra rich, she also has an immaturity attitude towards money.
Right.
So yeah.
If you never need to think about it, how could you be mature about it?
Yeah, correct.
Right. Yeah.
All right. So the next one is, are any of 45's adult children worried about indictments?
Oh, yes. The boys. She is too, the daughter. But the boys, especially Junior. The other one with the teeth, with the gums. I hate to make fun of people's physical appearances, but Junior's going to jail. He is really in trouble. He's not very bright. I don't think any of them are. But what's he gonna do? Turn his dad in? What's he gonna do? Give up the lawyers? I mean, because his father would take the money. If he went state's evidence, dad's gonna take the money away, right? And it'd be even worse off. It'd be ruined and have no money and no protections.
Yeah, does he have a job? Has he ever worked?
Yeah. He was actually a bartender in Denver. He gave up that life and he tried to be a regular guy, and his mom just stopped giving him money. Ivanka stopped giving him money, and so he ran home. Now, I'm sorry, but you and we could just be a bartender and go to junior college.
Well, I would make that work, yeah.
Yeah, you and I and all our viewers, we would figure out a way
If I really wanted to separate myself from that situation, I would make that work.
Yeah, you and I and many of our viewers have had the courage to go through that in our lives. He's facing jail time. I would say he is almost certain to go to jail. And it's about it's about the stuff they did on the airplane. They did a cover up of him talking to the Russians. That's what's going to put him in prison. He'll be there for a while, 5 to 7 years. It'll be very severe. He'll be the example that we set. He's got Trump's name. Can't get a hold of Donald. We'll put him in jail, and he will be really, what's he going to do when he gets out of jail? Nobody's going to want him at the party. Again, I know I'm having here for the devil, but I don't. This is the reality. We need to watch this happen and learn, right? Don't be Junior. Right. It's tempting. But...
I know. All right. So, what is going on? What is going to be the impact of the Delta COVID strain in the U.S. and will the vaccine help against? Well, the vaccine is already helping against the Delta variant. It's already here. It's already in the United States. So we're going to smash that right there. Right. If you're vaccinated, it is absolutely showing efficacy. I think is what it's called towards the Delta variant. So, yes.
Thank you, Lord.
But we have a whole bunch of anti-vaxxers, and I am not. Don't come for me. I'm not talking about the medically people who cannot get the vaccine. These
Yes.
are not who I'm talking about. Okay, I am
Uh,
talking about the anti-vaxxers, Trump crazy. You know,
yeah.
their tracking
Yeah.
device.
hmm Well, if I could just say this, I have friends who are not right wingers who don't want to take the vaccine. That's a legitimate argument. I mean, Agent Orange, we don't know what's going to happen in 10 years. We don't know. I'm watching tons of people get this vaccine, and I don't know what's in aspirin. I don't know what's in the new medicine my doctor gave me, but there's no crazy theories about that. I don't know. So I would ask, first of all, please, if you can, take the vaccine. Second of all, if you know somebody that is seriously critical of the vaccine, um, talk to them. They may not be the right winger. Start with their legitimate points. It's very legitimate. Who wants to take a new
Correct.
drug?
We're not talking about those guys.
It won't be them. But the variant has one effect. It is making others go, well, hey, this is getting serious. Not that it wasn't already. But if your coworker winds up in the hospital, you work in close proximity to them, and they got that variant. I'll tell you, I talked to a lady in Australia whose best friend just happens to be a doctor or a nurse in San Francisco. And she turned to me and she said, the minute they had that vaccine, my friend got it. She saw what those poor people went through. And she said it is not pretty. So imagine your coworker is in the hospital. You know how they're suffering. To kind of work against the variant. Yes. Yes. It will work against the variant. Maybe it'll be a little bit more, the variant. I know because I know people who got the vaccine and after the first dose they still got it. One man got it before and after, but afterwards it was like a day long cold. So that's going to happen even if you just got one shot. It will make some difference. It'll move some people. It will be more harmful to those who have not. And it's going to spread. It'll spread through, I don't know why, but it'll spread through Georgia, the southern states, maybe around Texas. It'll spread to the Midwest, this variant. And then obviously it'll, spin out. But it's kind of going through those places where those are least vaccinated because that's the easy thing. So, for example, New York and the East Coast are largely protected. California is more protected than Idaho, for example. Southern California already had it. People are pragmatic. So they just, even if they're skeptical, they've taken it. Not particularly worried about Hawaii, where I know some skeptics, nor Alaska, because there's not enough people. The variant is real, and we should be mindful of this and really, really do our research, even if we're skeptical or not.
Do you think, here's another question on the backside of that. So once that variant starts ripping through the country again, do you think that'll change the mind of the anti-vaxxers, and would we have an uptick on like, okay, that's it, I'm done, I'm gonna go get the vaccine no matter what?
25% is what I get over the next year. Not everyone, but 20, and I mean 25% of the anti-vaxxers will change their minds. Maybe 35%. Well, as people have watched and like, hey, people are getting better. People are protected. Yeah, it is really a pain. I can't get on an airplane. People don't want to invite me to the nursery school, sing along. Maybe. Oh, okay. I think once people have seen it, then they will. 25%. I also get 33%. So I almost feel like 33% are skeptical, and 25% of the 33% will do it. This will be enough to slow down the virus enough so that we might be able to stop it in the United States. Not stop it dead in its tracks, but largely, we don't have certain illnesses in our society anymore because we stop them. Nobody has it anymore. The variant does This is the real concern that I have. It will come back, unlike other illnesses that are eliminated forever. It could come back, and that's when people will really have to rethink it. They'll really be upset then. Like, I thought it was over and I could just go party, and now it's back, and they're like, ah, well, finally, okay, I guess I should do my homework. I don't need to belittle such people, although I disagree with them. That's the greater danger. The second, when they think that it's done, that's when I'm more concerned.
Well, the Delta variant, as the reports are coming in, it spreads faster and it's more powerful. So that's pretty scary.
It's really scary.
If you're able to get a vaccine, do it. I mean,
Yes.
you know, being a military family as I am, we before we could even go over to Germany, everybody in the family, we just lined up and got our vaccinations. That was life in the military. Yeah.
Why would you do that? Not a question.
Yeah, it was just like, okay. I understand that some vaccines do not work in other people. There has been that. I'm not denying any of that. But these people have been vaccinated. Dogs have been vaccinated. You know, everybody. We've dealt with this for quite some time, and it does prove to have success, or we wouldn't have succeeded in living so long. So
the question is, why should people believe in science? There are reasons for them to be skeptical. There are reasons for them to say, look at all these great, look at the television, look at the internet.
Yes, absolutely.
Sorry, I cut you off.
All right, so the next one is, and this one you can take on or not. This was kind of specific, and it was hard for me even to get in, but it's up to you. It said, what was discussed during private Helsinki meeting between Putin and DT Donald Trump?
Okay, so first of all, I'm going to just put up a little barrier between me and Putin. I always feel a little bit uncomfortable with that guy, and
Darth Vader.
Yeah, it makes me quite paranoid. To say,
it's a good idea.
You know, if you're listening, there's my kryptonite, Putin. I'm not really afraid of you, but not happy to look at you so much. Ooh, he is. You know, there's an interesting thing. He is kind of like kryptonite. He's like Achilles' heel for the world in a way. What did you guys talk about? Ooh, well, you know, it's the usual stuff. You know, people overestimate Russia in a sense that if they had a lot of power, they wouldn't be playing games like this. You know, the United States, you know, we do terrible stuff. We do things that are wrong. But, you know, does the United States really care who's the president of Russia? No. It'll just be replaced by another guy. You know, who cares? His are the actions of a desperate country, of, you know, really a third-rate sort of country. Again, I don't want to humiliate any Russians, but what they talked about was him just upstart scheming, you know, mafioso, homunculus kind of guy. He kind of moves in an animal-like fashion because he must. Joe Biden's like, you know, how about some more coffee? You know, I'd really appreciate it if you'd stop doing that. And, you know, we control the banks. Just want to let you know, you know.
The question was back with the Helsinki with Donald Trump.
Oh, with Donald.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, with Donald Trump.
Okay, good. So things have changed. Donald's also a third-rate kind of guy. He was down there with, you know, look at everything that Donald does. It's just barely legal. It's like, or it's totally illegal. You know, it's illegal, but there aren't laws on the books yet because nobody thought that he would do that. They were on the same level there. What'd you guys talk about? Ooh, well, you know what? One thing they talked about that was really gross is the racist talk that we were just talking about. They don't like other people. They put down minorities. They talked a lot, in my opinion. You know how the Nazis put triangles on people. They were not all pink. You'd get a black triangle if you were, you know, antisocial. A pink triangle if you're gay. There are, you know, they hated everybody who was anywhere at all different, and that was their power. That's how Putin and Trump motivate people dividing. What did you guys talk about? Dark Lord. I mean, that's what I get. They talked about the darkness. You know, if you kind of imagine, don't do this for too long, darkness in the universe, they divided that in half. They were equals. They talked about other countries. They talked about China. Trump was thinking, well, you know, hey, we're white. Let's go up against China. You know, Putin was like, well, yeah. I don't know if Putin was honest about that. Trump was. Hey, why don't we? These people don't matter. Let's try. Can we team up and not care about them together? You got the oil. Didn't do anything. It was more. It was more Trump being manipulated because he wants something out of Putin, if only an argument for the Americans. Putin was clearly more powerful in that interaction. But in a way, Trump was just being played for the media. That's all they did that for. They didn't talk about anything that they're going to do, nothing substantial, bad stuff. But
maybe Trump says, "Hey, you know what? How did you become so powerful?"
Yeah, right. I admire
this is
you.
what I did.
Yeah.
How do you fight against rebellion? Well, this is how we do it.
Yeah, yeah. You know, the whole playbook that we've seen with disinformation, that is straight up Putin. The whole put out 20 names, put out 20 stories. Oh, well, here's the story, but I don't agree with it, but I really do. You know, you tell the racist one thing, you tell the anti-racist, well, look here at me. I would never crash the Capitol like that. Those are crazy people. They're the same. I think your viewers want to know, you know, did they plan this together, the whole break into the MLS? And the answer is going to be straight up yes. They are that base. They are those people who don't believe in democracy. They believe in power, specifically male power in a particular genre from the past 1,000 years. Notice that it didn't really do either of them that much good. It's almost like a flag. Don't like us. Don't like me. I'm mean.
Yeah. It didn't work. Right. Yeah, it didn't work. That was the one thing about it is I still have that whole vision of that kind of behavior. You got far as you got with that behavior, but it's not going to work in the United States.
Yes,
it's not.
Great way.
It's just you can't get some really substantial traction on that kind of
thing.
We're just
we don't want to be like that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So we have another one that says, what other changes should we expect in global warming and how can we help others get through it?
The sun's looking really hot. Upsetting a lot of people. Again, especially in the West and places like where you and I live, where there's terrible drought in California. There will be farms that can no longer farm. People like Biden are going to have to find a new way to bring water to the center of the country, because if they don't, there will be diminishing crops. And I mean, like, we're going to have to like terraform our own desert, desalinate, something like this, we need forests to produce more oxygen. Again, on a good side, this will cause us to step up to the plate and do some real work against very powerful entities that don't want change. But the climate will be the next issue for the next 1,000 years. We'll be working on this. We will address it. It's not over. We will have to join together. Younger people will be very motivated and, pardon me, much less motivated by money. They won't care because we're moving into a more spiritual realm, and they're going to care about their immortal souls. But this will be a problem. It's going to be a problem here, I'm feeling, in Australia. I'm very, very concerned about this. This is perhaps my greatest concern. Politics will change, but the earth needs us now. We're going to have to, I am personally going to do everything I can to go to this kangaroo island and see if we can't make a portion of it like a retreat and draw some water so if fires come, the animals can be saved. I mean, that's a fantasy of mine. Everybody will be in various pockets coming together as individuals and a collective. It will be very difficult. It'll be difficult in Russia. That'll be one thing that takes Putin down. The snow is melting. He thinks it's going to be good, but it's not. Problems in Ohio, problems in the center of the country. I think it's Ohio. It's not Kansas. It's sort of in the middle there, and south of there. Colorado's looking okay. Florida's, going to sink. All that beachfront property, not going to be worth anything. These problems will come, somewhat slowly. So it's not the end of the world. You don't have to sell your beach house tomorrow. But if you've got the money and you're considering a condo in the city in a green space and it has a backyard and you could plant some of your own food, definitely consider that. We will all be affected. We'll all have to come together. This is another portion, I think, of the divine feminine, which is in relationship to resources as opposed to consuming and dominating. That ideal men or women it has to come up for us to fight for it and for us to understand. Let's call it she. We must understand who she is and who Mother Earth is. And that's the COVID too. If you mess with Mother Nature, it'll make sure you all stay home for a year. And you have to consider lives of others. What is asking people to wear a mask? Will you spend 1 second of your time just to think of other people and yourself? You put on your kids' seatbelts, right? They might not die. That's unlikely, but come on. Do we have the right to regulate that? Well, yeah. So this is the same. It's just the same story for the environment. Will you not use an aerosol can? It's just one, but think of the kids. That's what people will do. It'll get worse before it gets better. Starting in 9 years, there'll be 100 years of real difficult problems. Mass communities moving, impoverished people demanding water and equal rights and rice to eat. They will overtake, third world places will overtake some of their governments. So there is a movement, a revolution that will help us. They will stop some of the Venezuela. They will stop some of the governments. Think more about America, Canada. Look to Canada. They're the nice, peaceful people up north who will tell us, not to be mean or anything, but could you consider a more efficient fireplace? We figured this one out, and they will help. Right. Yeah, a little bit more in the Native American blood side, although they have suffered their own genocides there. But a little bit more present, a little bit more space. We're going to need to do that. We'll have to reduce our population by, 20%. Over 100 years, we're going to have to maybe even do more than that. Look, it's not the end of the world, but we should be prepared. Even when you're working and you're considering where to work, be prepared. Don't forget to think about the possibility that even your suburban neighborhood in Detroit is going to be affected, and it's not going to be an ever-increasing load of stuff.
I agree. I think we have to just kind of plow through it, and at this point in time, all the damage, the trajectory is kind of there. However, I've always said this: Mother Earth will take care of herself. Mother Earth will not take care of you if you're damaging it.
Great point. That's a great point.
She's going to succeed in this. She's going to win the war.
Mom knows what she's doing.
Exactly. So
Dad may be fooling around, but
yep. Mom, she's going to take care of it, and either we get on board. We get on board with her plan, or she will have her own plan, and that's kind of how it is.
I knew a lady, and this is how she would manage her kids. She would say, "Your father is the boss," and she would continue to do exactly what she thought was best, letting her father go. "Oh, you're the boss.
You're the boss now. Everybody,
get to
bed." Exactly.
Sound familiar?
Yes, very much so. All right. So we have. I know. I can kind of tell that you're getting a little tired. Is that
Mm,
true?
sure. I might need to use the restroom in a few minutes.
Okay. Well, you can go ahead and take a potty break. Just put yourself on, mute so we don't hear you.
No,
That's the thing.
I can wait 5.
Okay. So we've almost been on for 2 hours. So we're an hour and 45 minutes. So we have like 15 more minutes, and then we'll have
Always
the
a
2 hour
pleasure.
marks.
Always a
Yeah.
pleasure.
Yeah. So I can kind of tell, like, okay, he's trying to.
Thank you.
You're welcome. But so we have a few more. So we want to definitely go into Greg Abbott. Has
Mm,
become so radical. Greg Abbott is the
Text.
governor of Texas. Yeah.
Yeah. Mm.
So if you could do Greg Abbott.
Isn't Greg Abbott in a wheelchair?
Yes.
So I mean, I don't want to put anybody down, but in his particular case, he doesn't feel like he's powerful anymore. He's compensating. Again, I don't want to put anybody in a bad
It's
light.
not because it's not because of his
Yeah,
wheelchair. It's
it's just
literally his political, yeah.
that people can be, less abled, and being less abled, they can still accomplish all of the dreams they want, but
Yeah.
not him. He is, it's Texas. The perception of a man is a gun-toting, cowboy hat wearing, cattle catching oil guy. I'm not real, but he doesn't feel that as a man he has failed. And I mean, I don't want to be vulgar, but here's a man who doesn't feel like he can make love to his wife. If that's not too heavy on the imagery, and I mean, that affects a person, especially like him. Again, I would say that there's plenty of men in wheelchairs, women in wheelchairs who can be marvelous lovers, but not him in his mind. He feels like he's
So
failed.
is
Yeah.
right. So let's kind of redirect this to
Sure.
what is his game plan with trying
Mm.
to build a wall instead of fix the grid?
Wow, big problems. Now he says this, gosh, I've got to get some taxes. How am I going to get taxes out of these people to fix any of these problems? Let's prop up this wall. I put 5 meters on. Wow, a big ceremony. Big ceremony. Now, of course, that means that people have to wheel him out in the wheelchair, and then he's somewhat humiliated because that's who he is. There's that. He'll be working. The grid is, the wall's over. Nobody's talking about that wall anymore. It was just a symbol anyway. He's really working on the grid. There are people in Texas, they don't want that grid fixed. It's going to take a long time. They don't want it fixed. They don't care if he's governor or not. They don't care about it. So now that he's sided with, what we'd call big business and corporate bodies, now that he's there, he can't get that much out of them. They don't care about him. They pay his way, but they don't care. This will be a huge problem. This is not the last time. The center of a city is dark. Part of it is, hey, what do I care about those liberals in Houston? But he does care about those liberals in Houston, because liberals in Houston have, grandparents that come and visit and get pissed because the water's cold. This is going to cost him. It will. Is it going to cost him the election? It will cost him an election. Might cost Ted Cruz his place. This is again, Mother Nature.
Yeah, I wanted you to also kind of do the opposite, go into Bento's. Bento has been literally on foot, knocking on people's door, talking face to face with so many people in Texas. Is it making a difference?
Tell me, is it Bento? What's the name of this guy?
Bento, Bento, Beto,
Oh,
Beto,
Beto or Beto. I never know how to pronounce his name. I think it's Beto, but Beto, God, great example of a guy who's stepping up to the plate for everyone. He has a bit more of the quality of being, hey, I used to be a punk rocker, but I'm friendly with women and I listen, that kind of great guy. This is important for us to know. Again, I'm seeing a sort of scarlet letter. So if you know the scarlet letter, it eventually becomes a symbol of pride. People respect it. So while he's been branded like a Texas bull, there's some positives. He's overcoming that. It's inspiring him to go door to door like a regular guy, like a good old politician. It's almost like I'm gonna say like bubblegum politician, he's the one that just, I see a bubblegum machine and he shares it with everybody kind of guy, knocking on the doors.
Yeah, I
They're
feel like with him, he's going back to the basics, is what his whole campaign is.
So here's what I'm getting to. There's a big, long, like the tables that you would see at a corporation where they're having their board meeting. You don't like that. He sits at one end. He's sick of it. He's sick of these decisions being made in corporate boardrooms. He knows them. He's an outsider, but he learned. Now he's going to start, as you just perfectly said, start from scratch. I sense power building very slowly, but building almost somewhat invisibly, ironic for a guy like him. But I keep forgetting her name. I don't know why, but the lady in Georgia who got everybody to vote, the black lady. Why do I forget her name all the time? I have so much respect.
Now it's me. I always have her name too.
It's when you do this work. Gosh, you guys know.
What is her name? What is her name? Somebody else texted to me.
You guys know what I mean. Okay, somebody texted us. It's not. Let's look through it. Let's just think of
Stacey Abrams. Stacey Abrams.
Thank you guys. Thank you. So Stacey Abrams, he's gonna. This is a great cross-pollination. He's gonna go, hey, Stacey, how'd you do it? Or maybe he knows an interim person says, hey,
yes,
how do you do that grassroots stuff? Great example of a man learning from a lady, right? And them being very much this is where this mixed marriage comes together, in equality, where he listens to her and respects her. That's good. I think that there is a real hope that I'm not necessarily even sure that he will get elected. I don't know if we will continue with him, but he will be a powerful force for change. He might not even be the guy that gets elected, but he will influence the next person. He might be man enough, awesome enough, cool enough to go, let's give a lady a chance to be in this position of power. It's their turn. I'll support. Wouldn't that be awesome if he did that? And I'm totally okay with him moving forward. There are a few nicks in his reputation, not serious ones. Hit and run thing, I think, was so unserious. But he might just defer. That would be a right thing for him to do and just support like Stacey Abrams did.
Cool.
Yeah.
All right. So we're almost at the T. So I'm going to give you one more question.
Sure.
Somebody wants to know when is Christopher Wray going to leave the FBI? He seems so insecure at the budget hearing this morning. Will we find that he was part of the insurrection, or at least an accomplice, or did he know about it and didn't do anything? I added the last part.
Okay. Chris Wray did not know. He could not anticipate this happening. Now, you and I will say, come on, man, you're in such denial. We could look at what they were doing and know this was inevitable. But they were cleverer than him. And that's the problem with Christopher Wray. He was too aloof and too elitist in this insular little place. He just thought, well, Americans couldn't do that, which is why he's not really appropriate for that position. He may be very experienced, but he is delusional and naive to enough that he failed in his job to protect the society. He should resign. He should apologize. He should advise us on how not to make his mistakes. He does look contrite, and he should look contrite, and he should leave, and he should make it clear why he's leaving. I don't think that he knew, per se, he didn't do his job, right? You and I, viewers, if you were in that position, you would have done your job. Even though you don't have any experience, you would have stopped that from happening and got the police in the right place. He failed to do this. He will leave. He's there to answer the questions and to take responsibility, which is the right thing to do, but it won't last more than a few years. I would say it's possible that he will be there for 3, but he will be there to right the wrongs, and then he will leave. His career is over. Again, he had this moment in history and he didn't do what he was supposed to do. He failed. there anything else? I'm getting there's no more on him. It's just a general didn't do great. It didn't do a very good job, and really, this was the moment you had to live up to that, and you failed.
Somebody just told me, says how to pronounce. It's called Beto.
Beto.
Baytoe. Is the Beto is how we say Beto.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Okay.
Thank you for that.
Thank you for that.
Yeah. So I get what you're saying with Christopher Ray. I also have a. I see him as being once an honest man, but he has a part in him that he will diverge over here. He'll get off into the weeds if he has to. It's like, I want to do the right thing, but if I have to get out into the weeds, I will. And that has been his nemesis. That has been what his, like in the tarot cards, when you do a Celtic cross, what is always over top of him is that he knows that about himself, that he's willing to get off into the weeds, and that has gotten him into some serious problems.
Yeah. Politics, we go in with the best of intentions, and we put up with things we should not put up with, and little by little and by little, we are no longer the people we were, unfortunately.
Yeah, he's struggled in the last probably week or two or whatever, and all of his testifying and stuff like that. He's it's wearing on him, and he's struggling. We can all see that. So. Mm-hmm. All right. Well, we made it for 2 hours, first time.
Wow.
I know. Yes. Thank you so much. Yes, and thank you for everybody who posted questions. That you really make it really worthwhile coming. Yeah, coming. So I know that there was a few that I wasn't able to get to, but next time, for sure. If there's anything else, do you have anything else? Do you have anything exciting going on your channel, or are you offering some more services or anything like that?
Well, I'd still love to teach channeling. I am working on my own quantum healing. I'm writing a lot, and I find that something again shifted. I'm not even thinking about this. It's just I throw it on the page. I feel like Marianne Williamson or something. It's really exciting. I don't have to push myself. Just sit at that desk, tie yourself to the desk. It's like 3 o'clock in the morning. I find this incredible. All that stuff's going on. I'm super busy. I'm really enjoying it. I don't know about you, Sheila. I love my job. I love working with people. We just get to know them really, really well. I really appreciate the questions that people have asked. I'm sure you're feeling it so much right now too, all of y'all, that something's changing for the better.
Now, I saw you on with Intuitive.
Oh, Tarot. Yeah. Isn't she great?
Yeah, I was able to watch a good portion of it, but how did that go for you? I thought that was wonderful.
Wow, which is great. And I'll tell you,
she's sweet.
I love her, and she's totally from the same neighborhood. Like, she's like 2 blocks away from Linda G. And I was like, I practically knocked on your door because I've seen Linda G in her house. We made the video together. I mean, she's just beautiful inside and out, among other things. But
yes.
It's just like you, Sheila, and most of your viewers, all your viewers, I'm going to say, I could have a conversation with them for hours. And she and I really, we are similar in that we don't necessarily have tarot cards and things like that. She kind of doodles, and I'm starting to doodle a little bit, if you noticed. So it was really great to be on the show. I really look forward to being on your show, and I'm going to look forward to being on here. You guys ask great questions. You let me yammer on like crazy. You know how I love to do that. It's just really a good feeling to be working with people in the way that you and I work with each other. It's not competitive. We want the same thing. We're happy to be successful in our own careers. And while we help others be successful, you and she are just great examples of how beautiful it can be when people work together in a community.
Awesome. Yeah, I get that from her too. I get that. It's like no, this is not about better, big, better, or best. This is I rise, you rise, we all rise together, and that's what we need. That's how spirit approaches us, and that's how we should approach others too.
And again, can I just say, great hair? Linda G, Lena, all y'all, it's great hair.
Thank you. Thank you.
And of course,
all right, David. And maybe one day we'll get to meet your husband.
One
Maybe
day,
just
one day I'm gonna haunt you there in your hometown.
there. That would be fantastic. Wouldn't that
But
be awesome? We'll get
I'd
everybody
love to see
together and
that.
say, hey, we could do like a meet and greet.
As soon
That'd
as
be
this
fun.
COVID's over, I think we all got to get together and do a whole forum, whatever that looks like. I would love to do that.
Well, Whimsy, which Whimsy was in the, I don't know if she's still here, but Whimsy was here. Whimsy, my girl. She has this bright idea, which is great, is we all go on a cruise, and everybody who wants to meet us go on the cruise, and
Mhm.
we would be there for a meet and greet and all of that good stuff for
No
the
COVID on
cruise.
the cruise, though. No COVID in the cruise. Not welcome.
No. Well,
I would do
we
that.
could also do maybe like in Las Vegas, we can rent out like a room at a hotel in Las Vegas, and everybody can just land there, and of
Mhm.
course, and we can do that. So I think we have
You could
some big
stay in Vegas.
ideas.
What about like a castle in France, or
Oh
Budapest,
yeah. Oh
Hotel, or Denver, or
yes.
maybe the Southwest?
I have a
Consider that.
girl in Italy who runs a B&B. I hope I'm getting the right town. Italy, I think it's Italy. She has a B&B there. She has already offered all of us, to come, and she would absolutely love to host us. I know
I
she would.
really don't care what town it is in Italy. I'm there.
Yeah, exactly.
I'm there.
I want to go see how they do olive oil. That's been my dream forever, to go and watch how olive oil is made in the ancient ways with the big
Mhm.
wheel. And I want
Mhm.
to put my glass underneath there and capture them.
For me,
I could
for
drink
me, it's
olive.
the shoes. I just want to look at the shoes.
The shoes, yeah, the shoes, the rolling heel, the rolling grass. Oh,
Uh-huh.
that'd be
Such a great
beautiful.
place. Hmm.
Yes. Alrighty. Thank you
See you
so
soon.
much, everybody. Thank you for all of the chats, all of everything that we have. Yeah, Whimsy's still here. She goes, they are checking people. Make sure when you're traveling, make sure you just have your card. And that's one of the things too. Is Sicily. That's what it is. We have an invitation to Sicily. That's right,
Oh yeah,
Sicily.
I've been there.
So we all have our COVID cards, and we just travel with them, and so that
Bellissimo.
we are free. Yeah, we are free to
Yeah.
be wherever we can be. So
Italy, look
except for
out.
Canada. Yeah, Canada's still going, no Americans.
Mhm.
No Americans.
Mhm.
I don't
They've
blame
had,
them.
they've had enough of us.
Yeah, well, yeah, they've watched their people underneath them just go crazy. So they're just like,
Yeah.
uh-uh.
Yeah.
All right, everyone. Thank you,
Blessings,
everyone, for
y'all.
in the chat. I love you, girl. Whimsy, and everybody else that has been here. Marie Hansen, all of you guys that have showed up and supported this channel, and especially to watch Dave, and of course my girl Jackie. She's my girl.
Awesome.
So, alrighty. Thanks.
Bye-bye,
Go
everyone.
ahead and smile. Give them a good smile. It's the last picture.